Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. We are here with Sourpuss, Mike Thomas,
The
and
OG sourpuss.
the unsourpuss, Mike Spillane. It makes you sound so foreign and like dreamy.
Sound
Spillane.
French.
French. We are going to talk about our prime time games. We got Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and we are going to start talking about Sunday Night Football. The New York Football Giants, who own MetLife Stadium because it is Giant Stadium, and rent it to the New York Jets because they are poor and stupid. Sorry, I went on a tangent. The Giants versus the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. We are going to start first with my Giants partner in crime. Mike, explain, how are you feeling about this Sunday Night Football game?
Dude, I'm amped, man. Like, as a Giants fan, it's a good time to be a Giants fan. It's worth being excited. Like, there's been a good amount of hype, and we have a competent front office for the first time since towards the end of since like the middle of the Jerry Reese era. Like, because at times the Jerry Reese era was good, but like end of Jerry Reese era and into Dave Gettleman, those were the bad times. We've been through so many coaches that have just been like abysmal. We like Pat Shurmur, Ben McAdoo, Joe Judge, like all of these experiments that just haven't panned out. And then we got Joe Shane, Brian Daboll. They come in last year with no head coaching experience and no GM experience, and they just lit this team on fire. And it's been something that now they
Good
actually
fire,
had.
not bad fire.
Yeah, it's awesome fire. You know, it's that fire in your gut. So, sorry.
Clear as hearts can't lose.
Yeah, exactly. Took the bus here. But no, dude, it's one of those things that they finally had room this year to go ahead and make some moves, and they didn't have a lot of room, but they're doing the smart things. They re-signed Andrew Thomas, who is an All-Pro tackle, to a big extension. Re-signed Dexter Lawrence to a big contract, who is a Pro Bowl defensive tackle and debatably the best defensive tackle in the league last year. Best true defensive tackle, I should say, because Aaron Donald is an animal that is without position in my mind.
He's not real.
Calling him a defensive tackle is almost like an insult to defensive tackles everywhere that are just these big motherfuckers that he's just got an 8-pack. It just doesn't make sense. But no, they paid the people that were inside the building. They even gave a decent contract to Darius Slayton to come back, who was someone who was one of our more productive wide receivers last year. They paid Daniel Jones and showed faith in him while still making it a contract that's team friendly. And then they drafted cornerbacks, which is an area of need. They drafted a center who was an area of need, and he has been absolutely crushing it in preseason. And then they also got another playmaking wide receiver, the trade for Darren Waller, to get us a big target in the middle of the field who can be a dominant target, which is something that we haven't had since they traded Odell. Like, just full stop. There has not been a dominant target in New York since Odell left. Like, and that's how many years ago now? Like, it's been a while.
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many.
Should have never happened, but whatever. I digest. But, you know, we have a lot to be excited about as a fan base. And I'm ready to get the season going, man. Like, I'm excited. Starting off with a divisional game against a team that's been kind of a kryptonite for us lately. It's a perfect test for them to make a statement. And that's what I'm hoping to see on Sunday.
So, Mike Thomas, from the outside, you are an AFC-er. You are a Steelers fan. What are your thoughts and feelings about both of these teams coming into Sunday Night Football? How do you feel about the Cowboys? How do you feel about the Giants? Can you expound upon that?
I think both teams are similar in that I wouldn't be surprised if they are a playoff team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just middle of the pack and miss the playoffs. And I would be surprised if the Giants were a straight bad team. That would surprise me. I think I've bought into your hype enough over these past couple of weeks that the Giants are going to be a good football team. So I expect them to beat Dallas at home on Sunday night. But I'm also just so wary of any NFC East matchup because it just seems like you get those teams together and just toss or tear up all the stats and all of this stuff and throw them up in the air and be in week one. We don't have stats. We don't have shit. So I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about any of this stuff. I'm excited to watch it. I hope it's going to be a good game. I expect the Giants to win. Everybody else seems to be on the Cowboys, though, and that surprises me.
Yeah, what's the view? So I know, and I'll expound upon this when I decide that it's my turn to talk. But what is your view of Dak Prescott from the outside? Someone that doesn't see him play every year, or someone who doesn't, adamantly watch him at least 2, maybe 3 times a season, depending on playoffs and all that stuff.
Me?
Yes,
I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has the potential. I think he is very skilled. I think he definitely got messed up with that really bad injury and has not been completely the same player ever since then. But I also think the team around him isn't nearly as good as it was those years as well. So maybe that's the biggest damning thing about him is he's not really making those around him better like those really good quarterbacks do. So I feel the Cowboys are actively worse this year than they were last year with losing Zeke and maybe 1 or 2 other changes, but I don't know if it's enough to make them a bad team this year.
bad. NFC East bad is different than like Browns bad. Browns bad.
Well, I mean, Cleveland's bad is just historic bad.
Mike Spillane. Now break me down some Dak Prescott from inside the division. What are your thoughts and feelings about Dak?
So I actually sent this to you earlier today. So I'm going to bring up the tweet from Patty T, Patricia Traina, one of the big beat writers for the G-Men. And she made a comment saying that Dak Prescott has had some ball security / turnover problems in the past 2 seasons. 25 interceptions and 18 fumbles. Giants have to find a way to cash in on that Sunday. That's one of the things that I think is going to be the biggest X factors for us is going to be, does our defensive line get enough pressure that our secondary can make plays? That's what it's really going to come down to for me. If our defensive line can get the pressure that we want to, which and that's really like Azeez Ojulari was pretty much not healthy at all last year. He only played in, I think, 7 games and had 5.5 sacks. If you extrapolate that across over the course of a full 17-game season, that's pretty fucking good numbers from a defensive end that you drafted, second or third round? So, those are good numbers. And Kayvon Thibodeau, he showed up in big moments last year, but we need to see him take that jump of being like, I can be a dominant edge rusher in the NFL, especially for being a 5th round pick. Or not a 5th round pick, a 5th overall pick. So if our defensive line can put pressure on Dak to force him to make throws, because we know you can force him to make throws. He's done it his entire career. He's done it in camp. We heard Trevon Diggs call him a little bitch in practice because he was making those fucking mistakes. Like, when your own teammate is showing you that kind of disrespect, you know that it's something that you can capitalize on. So that's really what it's going to come down to for me. It's going to come down to that, and it's going to be coming down to, do we see improvement out of Evan Neal on the other side of the ball? But as far as Dak goes, you got to force him to make mistakes because he's very prone to mistakes if you force his hand. So if our defensive line can force him to make throws, we just need our secondary to make plays. And I think that's going to be the key for the Giants to win the game.
Very excited to see what comes of this. I think the Giants they have a better idea of what their offense needs to be, at least to start the year this year. Last year it was very Saquon focused early, and then later it got spread out and it became more of an us kind of offense. So I'm excited to see with what Darren Waller brings to the team, and even still Saquon and Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt, I think gives you that guy that can take the top off a defense. Hit 24 miles an hour at practice a couple times during training camp, which is very fast. Very fast. I just can't stress this enough that is really fast.
And I want to go ahead and just kind of like piggyback off of that a little bit and shout out to Bobby Skinner of Talking Giants First the World. He made a mention in a video I watched actually earlier today where he was talking about Saquon Barkley, and through like the first 7 games last year was averaging about 20 carries a game for about like 5.5 yards per carry, which was awesome. But then like games 8 through like 13, he was down to about 18 carries a game, but was averaging 3.3 yards per carry. And then they kind of just like altered the philosophy with him down the final stretch. And he was only getting about 12 carries per game, but he was averaging almost 6 yards per carry. It's going to be one of those things where we think that, especially if we're going to be in a more passing focused offense, now that they've finally given Daniel Jones tools to work with and he's going to have options, it's time for Saquon Barkley to not be a bell cow and time for him to be a playmaker. And that's kind of what they started to do with him towards the end of last year. And when Bobby Skinner said that, I was like, yeah, man, that honestly makes a lot of sense, because I think that's going to be one of the things that he's going to touch the ball a little bit less directly out of the backfield, but he's going to be making so many more plays if this ends up being the way that they go, whether it be, through screen passes or draws and stuff like that. I just think he's going to have the potential to be such a key figure for this offense in a playmaker role where he's a little bit more drawn back rather than, getting it every down.
Well, as much as I would love to continue to talk about the New York Football Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys, I do want to pivot to our Jets Bills. But first, I want to make our scoring predictions, and I will lead us off. I am going to say that the Giants will win this game. I'm going to do 31-17.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
broke Spillane.
Yeah.
No, he broke me because that's the same fucking score that I had in my head.
Oh,
I wrote that down before we started talking. As soon as you started talking about the fact that you did that on our last preview, that's what the exact score prediction that I wrote down for the Giants.
Yeah. I'm going to say I feel it. I feel it in my heart. 31-17. Obviously, Mike Spillane agrees. Mike Thomas, what do you got?
31.
31-17.
31 Giants. 27
57.
Dallas.
Ooh,
31-27.
That's a good game, though. That's a good game. I wouldn't be upset at that. I'm also going to say Dak throws 2 picks. I'm just going to throw that out there as well. Let that.
Who gets the picks?
Xavier and Trey Hawkins. I think they test Trey and he picks one.
I like it. 6th round or 5th round at Old Dominion. Let's go.
Pivoting, because we are the number one Jets hating podcast on the internet. Jets versus Bills. Jets v. Bills. Mike Thomas.
Well, apparently I'm just learning tonight that the Jets are deadbeats and have to rent their stadium from the Giants. So I did not realize that before. So that makes me like them even less. I don't think they are going to beat Buffalo. They're not even at home. They're at their just rented facilities. So it's basically a neutral field game for Buffalo to go in there and dominate from start to finish. Buffalo's a really good team, and I am not buying the Jets hype this year. So I think Buffalo is going to start the season with a win, and the Jets are going to have a very rough start to their season.
So let me backpack on this, because we are the number one Jets hating podcast. One, I love that this is new information for you, and now it's going to influence every Jets decision you ever make.
From now until the end of time.
I love it. It is one of my favorite things. 2, the thing that I think no one is talking about is last year a lot of people gave Aaron Rodgers a pass because they were like, he had all new receivers. He was struggling with this. He lost Nathaniel Hackett. He's doing da-da-da. He's coming into a new offense. Just because Hackett's there doesn't mean that's the offense that Saleh runs. And he has every new receiver. Randall Cobb is not a starting wide receiver anymore. Allen Lazard has never been a starting wide receiver. So he's got all new receivers again this year. And he's got a worse offensive line, better weapons. I will defend Aaron Rodgers ad nauseum that he was not supported with decent weapons consistently in Green Bay. They constantly left him high and dry in the wide receiver tight end market. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Aaron Jones is a fine piece. AJ Dillon's a fine piece, but like never any exceptional playmakers when they let Devontae go. They had Devontae for a minute and then they were just like, go over there. And he did. And like there was no backfill. So it reminded me a lot of Calvin Johnson and the Lions. But I feel like no one is making this correlation between these two teams. And like, I just think he's going to struggle this year. He's 40 years old. He's playing in a stadium that's not his. He wants to call it Jet Life Stadium, but like it's a lease, bro. You can't do that. And I just envision struggle. I envision struggle. And that's not to say that they're not going to be good, because I think talent, wins games, and there's a shit ton of talent over there, especially on the defensive side. But like, can you stop the pass rush? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. Mike Spillane, am I out of line? Talk to me about our leasers.
So I will say that you're actually out of line to a certain degree. And the reason that I'll say
Shut
that
up.
you're
You're
out
out
of
of
line,
order.
Get out of here.
no.
Guys,
So
come on.
the reason that you're out of line, you're 100% right on will they be able to protect him? Because I don't know, it's not good. But where you're out of line is the whole new offense thing. It's going to take him a little bit of time to click with the receivers because of the fact that he's new to them. But one of the things that he's going to do is that you got to remember that in this offense, Nathaniel Hackett is a fucking figurehead. He is there to just take the credit for, yeah, I told him what to do. But we know Aaron Rodgers is calling the shots. He's calling the plays. He's deciding what happens. Nathaniel Hackett's just being like, I got suggestions, and he's like, I don't care, gold member. Like, that's pretty much what it is. Aaron Rodgers is a smart decision maker. It's just, I don't think week one, all of the receivers are going to be on the same page of the Aaron Rodgers way. That's where I think the delay is going to happen. I don't think it's a new offense. I think it's Aaron Rodgers calling the shots and those guys not understanding the shots yet. So I still think that this is going to be a game where they're going to struggle, and I think that the Bills are going to be the better team week one. But when they meet again in Buffalo, it has the potential to be a different story.
I would like the record to show that our second and third teamers stopped Aaron Rodgers on his first drive ever as a New York Jet. I just want that to go out there, because like Hard Knocks made it look like they went down the field and got a touchdown. They did not. They had to punt, and then they went down the field and got a touchdown, but that was still on second and third team players. But I just want to get that also out in the world.
Yeah, we did not play any first team players in the Snoopy Bowl.
We didn't do it.
That's what it's called, by the way.
Snoopy, MetLife. It's great. So how are we feeling about the Bills? They did not look super duper good in the preseason, and Stephon Diggs like sort of kind of feels like he wants out of Buffalo but doesn't, but does, and like I don't know. What are the thoughts and feelings on the Bills? I'm gonna go to you first, Mike Thomas, because Josh Allen won you a fantasy championship, so I feel like you are ready to talk about this. I feel like you're prepared.
Yeah, so Josh Allen is a quarterback that I was convinced was going to regress last year. And I don't really think, yeah, it kind of did, but not really at the same time. He's still a really good quarterback. Buffalo's a really good team. Buffalo is going to be one of the cream of the crop in a very talented AFC. So Buffalo is going to go out there and get theirs. And the only way I see the Jets having the type of season that some in the media think that they're going to have, their fans hope them to have, they're going to have to do it with a tough defense, and a defense that holds opponents to under 20 points per game, because I just don't see the offense going out there and routinely scoring 24, 27 points, 30 points a week. I just don't see it happening. So Buffalo's really going to be a tough team to keep under 20 points. I just don't think that's going to happen.
And I think you are going to get those occasional drives where Rodgers just isn't clicking, and that showed up even in Hard Knocks. They showed that, there was a couple series where he was missing balls or people weren't picking up assignments the right way, and like if the other team capitalizes on that and like your offense doesn't give the defense a good enough break or enough time to suck some air, like you're in for a tough go. And like looking at the Bills offense, it is aggressively the same, if not slightly upgraded with the addition of Dalton Kincaid. Like they invested in their offense this in the draft. They went for offense. They were like, you know what? We score a lot of points. It would be cool if we scored more.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and got a really good tight end out of college in the first round. And like their defense is very similar. They added Leonard Floyd. So like, even though Von Miller's not there, they still have that, guy that had a career year last year on the defense. This team should scare a lot of people. This team should scare a lot of people. And I feel like because they haven't like gotten over the hill in the last couple of years, that hill being Patrick Mahomes, people are like down on them, but like Aaron Rodgers hasn't won more than one game in the playoffs since 2012 or something like that. 2012. I'll have to look that up for correctness, but I don't know. I'm not super high on the Bills because Patrick Mahomes plays in the AFC, but like looking at this team that's a lot of returning guys, like how could you be low on them? And then you look at the Jets where there's been a little bit of turnover, especially on the offensive side. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Sorry, I'm looking up Aaron Rodgers' playoff record.
Yeah, we weren't sure who you were necessarily putting that to, so
Anyone
Take it,
say
Spillane.
words.
I was going to let you go.
Oh my God, stop sucking each other off. This isn't HBO Max, and neither one of you are Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, Thomas, then you go.
I agree. Back to you.
Damn, that was cold blooded.
Can you repeat the question? I got in this argument with Mike Thomas. I don't even know where we're going.
It wasn't really a question. It was just how can you be low on the Bills when they have this much returning for offense, defense, and the Jets do have a little bit in flux.
Yeah,
Nathaniel Hackett's still new to this team. Like even though it's his offense ish, it's Bob Saleh's offense. He's still new.
And that's part of the reason why I said I think that it's going to be a struggle early for the Jets, but it'll be more of an even match when they play the Bills later in the season. Like that kind of just echoes it. The fact that the Bills are just a better team right now. And the Bills are going to be a better team right now. Do I think that the Jets can catch up and be better later in the season? Absolutely. But the Jets still need more time. They need more than one drive against the Giants' third stringers for me to go ahead and feel like they're going to be a world beater. Like, congratulations. You threw a touchdown to Garrett Wilson over a guy who had him actually well covered, but a guy who did not make the roster, and I don't know if he's on any roster right now. So, like, great job there. You got a viral moment with Jihad Ward. Really proud of you for that. But yeah, no, the Bills are just in a better place overall, but the Bills are also in put up or shut up mode. Their window of being a Super Bowl contender is now. And it's not like now next 2 years. It's like now this is the end of the window. Like there's too many things that are going to be moving parts. According to Mike Thomas, Stephon Diggs is pretty much dead. So that's an issue. Gabe Davis has been one of the receivers that I've been like, I want to see him take that step because he's a UCF boy, but like he hasn't like solidified that like I'm the premier number 2 receiver in the league that I wanted him to do. So he's like there's guys that have to, for me, kind of like show that this window can extend past this year because right now I'm not certain that it can.
Well, I will say this. Aaron Rodgers has won 2 games in the playoffs twice in his career. So he's gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, or like win, loss, or just loss. Every other time, but in 2017, they won 2 games and then lost to the Falcons, where the Falcons then lost to the Patriots. And the only other time he's won 2 or more games in the playoffs was when they won their Super Bowl in 2011. They've been 1 win and done, or just done, in every other year that he's been in the playoffs, where he is 11-10 as a starter. So I'm not high on the 40-year-old quarterback that like doesn't believe in medicine. He's not a believer in that. He just doesn't
He
think it's
believes in
real.
his medicine. What are you
He
talking
does
about?
believe in
Just not
medicine.
your medicine.
Darkness is not a medicine.
He does believe in medicine. It's just a medicine man, not like CVS medicine.
Are we sure he got out of Burning Man?
Oh no, I don't know.
He might be stuck in the
confirm. Shit, Aaron, you stuck in the mud, bro. Is there anything else we would like to add before we do our score predictions for this game?
Bill, Bills, Bills, Bills.
Oh no. Oh no. The 3 Jets fans that will never hear this are going to be upset that you said that.
Also, that technically wasn't Bills. That was Bill.
Bill.
I was cheering on Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Hell yeah. We always cheer on Bill here. I am going to say the Buffalo Bills are going to finish victorious, and they will do so with by a score of 38-27.
Give me the Billies 35-24.
Buffalo 24. Jets 17.
Ooh, okay. A tutty between them. Guys, let us know your score predictions down below. And thank you guys for hanging out. Please do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. We will continue to bring you awesome funness throughout the season this year. So let us know what you want to hear, and we might do it, maybe. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. We will see you guys all back here next time.